Throughout the centuries, Rabbinic Jews have also spread lies about Jesus and his followers. During the 1st century, Rabbinic Jews were calling for the death of the Jewish followers of Jesus in the prayer called Birkat Haminem, which states the following, quote, "May the Jewish Christians and the heretics be destroyed in this moment. May they be blotted out from the book of life." End of quote. The only reason Rabbinic Jews called for their death was because Jewish followers of Jesus accepted Jesus as Messiah. Between the 1st century and 3rd century, Rabbinic Jews spread lies about followers of Jesus in order to injure followers of Jesus. Ed Kaiser states the following, quote, "Origen charges Rabbinic Jews with falsely reporting Christians guilty of cannibalistic practice and sexual orgies." End of quote. The only reason the Rabbinic Jews spread the lies about followers of Jesus was because they accepted Jesus as Messiah. The Rabbinic Jews have also spread lies about Jesus in writing. One example is in the Rabbinic Jewish document called Toldat Yeshu, which states the following, quote, "Yeshu was the illegitimate son of Joseph Pandera. Miriam admitted it." End of quote. Yeshu is a derogatory way to refer to Yeshua, which is the Aramaic name of Jesus. Miriam is the Aramaic name of Virgin Mary. This passage states that Virgin Mary engaged in promiscuity with a man called Pandera, and that Jesus was the result of this union. This quote contains a lie from the devil. The truth is that Jesus was born of a virgin, and the father of Jesus was God the Father. The Rabbinic Jewish scholar Chaim Maccabee states the following, quote, "Toldat Yeshu built many of its incidents on these very Talmudic passages." End of quote. The rabbinic authorities, such as Moses Maimonides and Maimonides, have said that there are verses in the Talmud referring to Jesus of Nazareth, in the Talmud's final written form. The rabbinic Jewish scholar Chaim Maccabee states the following, quote, "It appears from the commentaries of Rashi and the Tosafos on the Talmud that all the passages mentioning Jesus by name were regarded as referring to the Christian Jesus." End of quote. Another example is in the verses Gittin 57a from the rabbinic Jewish anthology called the Talmud, which states the following, quote, Jesus the Nazarene is punished with boiling excrement." End of quote. The rabbinic Jewish scholar Chaim Maccabee states the following, quote, "The passage in which Jesus' punishment in hell is described also seems to refer to the Christian Jesus. It is a piece of anti-Christian polemic dating from the post-70 Common Era period." End of quote. The rabbinic Rabbi Eitan Baghdadi said the following, quote, "The Talmud says that the founder of Christianity has been sentenced to boil in feces." End of quote. This quote from the Talmud contains a lie from the devil. The truth is that Jesus is alive in heaven at the right hand of God the Father. The scholar Peter Schaeffer said the following, quote, "Taken together, the texts in the Babylonian Talmud become a daring and powerful counter-gospel to the New Testament in general." End of quote. The rabbinic Jewish director Stephen Bames states the following, quote, "It is also important that rabbinic Jews confront their own tradition and ask how rabbinic Jewish sources treated the Jesus narrative." End of quote. Stephen also said the following, quote, "Lastly, the passage Sanhedrin 43 suggests rabbinic willingness to take responsibility for the execution of Jesus." End of quote. Steve is saying that the rabbinic Jewish leaders in the 1st century wanted Jesus dead. The rabbinic Jewish leaders wanted to murder an innocent man during the 1st century. The same rabbinic Jewish leaders later created rabbinic Judaism in order to lead the Jewish people into heresy. The devil is laughing his head off that he has tricked so many ethnic Jews into heresy. The rabbinic Jewish leaders were worshiping the devil. Throughout the centuries, followers of Jesus have forgiven their enemies. After witnessing persecution from rabbinic Jews, the Jewish follower of Jesus Michael Brown said the following, quote, "Pray for those who persecute you. You love and forgive." End of quote. After being harassed by rabbinic Jews, the Jewish follower of Jesus Hallel Goldman said following, quote, "I do not hate them. We prayed for those people who attacked us." End of quote. Ambrosiaster states the following, quote, however seriously the Rabbinic Jews may have sinned by rejecting the gift of God, they are the children of good people. End of quote. St. Cosmas Idolos states the following, quote, if a man insults me, it is my duty to forgive him. End of quote. St. Tikhon of Zadon states the following, quote, forgiveness is better than revenge. End of quote. In Luke chapter 23, verse 24, Jesus Christ states the following referring to his enemies, quote, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. End of quote. The Catholic Church states the following, quote, it has always remained the teaching of the Catholic Church that no one is to be coerced into believing. End of quote. The Rabbinic Jews were protected by the Catholic Church because Rabbinic Jews are made in the image of God according to the Catholic Church. The Jewish scholar Pinchas Lapide states the following, quote, medieval Rabbinic Jews as a rule were protected by the popes. End of quote. The Catholic priest Edward Krause states the following, quote, there are well over 100 papal bulls and letters of protection of Rabbinic Jews. End of quote.
Top 15 Messianic Prophecies. One Messianic prophecy is Psalm 16, verses 8 through 11, where the Messiah will rise from the dead, which is fulfilled in Acts 13, verses 35 through 37. Another Messianic prophecy is in 2 Samuel chapter 7, verses 12 through 16, where the Messiah would be a descendant of David, which Jesus fulfilled in Hebrews 1, verse 5. King David's future resurrection was only possible because of the resurrection of his descendant, the Messiah. Jesus is a descendant of King David. Another Messianic prophecy is in Jeremiah 31, verse 31, where the Messiah would bring in a new covenant, which Jesus fulfilled in Matthew chapter 26, verse 28. Another Messianic prophecy is in Zechariah 9, verse 9, where the Messiah would come riding on a donkey, which Jesus fulfilled in Matthew chapter 21, verses 1 through 7. Another Messianic prophecy is in Hosea 11, verse 1, where the Messiah would be called out of Egypt, which Jesus fulfilled in Matthew chapter 2, verses 13 through 15. Another Messianic prophecy is in Zechariah 11, verses 12 through 13, where the Messiah would be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver, which was fulfilled in Matthew 26, verses 14 and 15. Another Messianic prophecy is in Daniel chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, where the Messiah would be called the Son of Man, which was fulfilled in Matthew chapter 9, verse 6. Another Messianic prophecy is in Psalms chapter 2, verses 1 through 12, where the Messiah would be called the Son of God, which was fulfilled in Mark chapter 1, verse 11. Another Messianic prophecy is in Exodus 12, 1 through 51, where the Messiah would be a willing sacrifice, the Passover lamb, which was fulfilled in John 1:29. Another Messianic prophecy is in Micah 5, chapter 2, where the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, which was fulfilled in Matthew 2, verses 1 through 6. Another Messianic prophecy is in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, where the Messiah would be born of a virgin, which was fulfilled in Luke chapter 1, verses 31 through 35. Another Messianic prophecy is in Daniel chapter 9, verses 24 through 27, where the Messiah would come at a particular time, which was fulfilled in Matthew 24, verses 15 through 16. Another Messianic prophecy is in Isaiah chapter 52, verses 13 through chapter 53, verse 12, where the Messiah would be a suffering servant, who would be pierced for our transgressions, which was fulfilled in Matthew chapter 8, verses 16 and 17. Another Messianic prophecy is in Isaiah 11, verse 1, where the Messiah would be a Nazarene, which was fulfilled in Matthew chapter 2, verse 23. Another Messianic prophecy is in Isaiah chapter 42, verses 1 through 7, where the Messiah would be a light for the nations of the world, which was fulfilled in Matthew 12, verses 15 through 21. Jesus is the only Messiah figure in history who is accepted by virtually all ethnicities on earth. Yeshua HaMashiach, Yeshua the Messiah, Jesus the Messiah, Jesus Christ. For more information, go to the website for Association of Hebrew Catholics and the website Jews for Jesus